Test, test, test. 1, 2, 1, 2. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having an amazing day. For those that are tuning in for the first time, my name is Ricky. This is our Sunday Stock Talk. We host one of these every single Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We do this to come together as a group and just to kind of put ourselves back together and make sure that our kind of thoughts and just overall thoughts really are in line for this upcoming week. So again, we run the largest YouTube channel and we run the largest private Facebook group for those who invest in the stock market. If you guys want to join our free Facebook group, we have a little bit over 184,000 members, and it's that first link in the description. And again, you can leave the group if it's something that you end up not seeing value later on down the road. But we'd love to stay connected. Be sure to drop a thumbs up if you guys learned something new. And let's go ahead and have some fun. So again, I just want to make sure that you guys are aware that what's it called? When it comes down to breaking down stocks, this is pretty much the live stream for it. I'm going to be breaking down about 10 to 15 stocks within this live stream. All these stocks are going to be coming from our members that are tuning in live. So if you want me to break down the stock that you see value in, just like Ismail is posting right now, Ismail is going to be one of our moderators, and he is posting the ticker call out format, meaning that you have to make sure that before you call anything out, that you put the ticker symbol, you put the support and resistance, the desired entry point and sell point, and then your stop loss and why it has potential. Your whole kind of plan when it comes down to trading, we just want to make sure that you first kind of set that first step and have your own opinion about what it is that you might see value in before I give you mine. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to trade. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I do not trade for others. And I just really want you guys to understand that, the best way to empower you is to become a self-sufficient trader, as that is our goal for each and every single one of you. Also do want to remind you that if you say anything disrespectful, you'll get blocked from the chat and the overall channel. So that's simple. So for all those that are tuning in for the first time, again, you guys might be asking what platform I'm using. I'm using the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. It's what I use. It's not the only option out there. You can Google a bunch of different options out there, and that's really just it. So let me go ahead and move this on over. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, so I think there might be a question of do I trade Forex? Do I trade options? Nope, just trade stocks, no Forex, no cryptocurrency, nothing like that. So, but I appreciate you asking. All right, here we go. Yeah, I think there's a football game or something like that right now, right? So a couple people were telling me that we should postpone the live stream, but you could rewatch it if that's something that you want to do. But all right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. Again, and if you guys want to learn more information, so I see people asking about Learn Plan Profit and stuff like that. If you guys want to learn more about Learn Plan Profit, what it has to offer, what's included, the price, all that stuff, it's the second link in the description. For all those that have questions about flipping wheels, it's the third link in the description. Everything's plugged down in the description if you want to check that out. Just please understand that we already have that in place for you. So let's see who our first one is going to be. So Chiefs and Patriots, okay. Yeah, football, right? Let's go. All right, Rocket Star, here we go. Ticker symbol C. Let's check this out. And then all the stocks that I'm going to be breaking down this week are going to be here. Let me erase these. Here we go. Alrighty. Here we go. All right, so this is ticker symbol C. This is Citigroup, right? So one of the things that I like to focus on for those that didn't see what I did here, I put it in the 180-day, 4-hour time frame. I first like to understand its overall direction, and I want to make sure that I'm getting a good deal based off of previous patterns. Looking at the previous patterns for Citigroup, it was showing signs of not necessarily an uptrend, but not necessarily, yeah, it was kind of in somewhat of an uptrend. It was bouncing off the SMA line. It was making higher highs here. Ultimately, when the market began to pull back and stuff like that, you could see that Citigroup began to follow. It was the SMA line, when it used to act as a support, meaning that that's normally where it bounced off of, is now beginning to act as a resistance. And with that being said, you can see that it's been getting rejected around the SMA line, which is again the green line here, around here. And then recently, due to the really strong push that we've seen, is that, Citigroup also went through its earnings, went through a positive catalyst, drove the price up. And now the question to ask yourself is, great, Citigroup, ticker symbol C, is showing signs of an uptrend. What's one of the things, and I want to engage with you guys, right? What's one of the things that you think that you would want? Like, you're an investor and your goal is to, use money to make money, right? So you want to make sure that you focus on getting a good deal, that you're investing in patterns that are showing signs of growth, and that the upside potential outweighs the downside potential, right? What's one of the things that, let's talk about maybe 3 cons, 3 negative things about ticker symbol C, and not negative things, but maybe why it's not such an attractive deal, right? A lot of you guys have been saying it already. It's overbought. Look at the RSI, which is this, what's it called? Study right here. It tells you when it's a little bit more on the overbought side. Okay. Look at the MACD, has gone through its full completion and reversal. But the thing that is attractive about Citigroup, or ticker symbol C, is that right now it is bouncing off the EMA line. So one of the things that we've talked about multiple times before is if something is showing signs of an uptrend and not showing any signs of a rejection or resistance, meaning that it's just continuously pushing up, great. There's nothing wrong with maybe a day trade scalp, meaning that you get in and out very quickly. If you see that opportunity within the day, great. But then the question to ask yourself is this a swing trade, meaning that you might want to hold it overnight and more for than just one day, right? You don't want to day trade it. You see more opportunity, like more upside opportunity or potential based on previous patterns. And as of right now, looking at ticker symbol C, I don't necessarily see that. I see that it's uptrending. I find that attractive. It's staying true to this EMA line. It continues to make higher highs. Great. As long as I see that opportunity and potential within the day, so the 1 day, 1 minute chart, and that pattern continues and it trades. Let's go to the 1 day, 1 minute chart. In between the middle and top VWAP, the pattern is there, the potential is there, and the margin is there. That makes sense. You can manage your risk within the day. But then asking yourself, again, looking at previous patterns, how it's been trending down based off recent patterns, how the SMA line is pointing down, overbought, overextended with different indicators, it makes sense on maybe why this is maybe not the best deal ever, right? And with that being said, yes, I see value in ticker symbol C because it's uptrending. I think that's very attractive quality to focus on. But then the question that you might want to ask yourself is this something that I really want to continue to hold for a longer period of time? I just want to make sure that you guys know how to identify and to differentiate what's a day trade and what's a swing trade. That's my breakdown on ticker symbol C. That was pretty in-depth breakdown. I apologize if that took too long. So here we go. Brent is NTEC. NTEC. Here we go. All right. So Intech Pharma. Okay. So I'm not a huge fan of these pharmaceutical companies, right? It looks like it was getting rejected by the overall SMA line. It's been one of the things that you can notice is every time that it pushes up exponentially, the volume follows, right? It pushes up, pulls back, consolidates, pushes up, pulls back, consolidates, pushes up, pulls back, consolidates. Pushes up, consolidates, pulls back, consolidates, pushes up, consolidates, pulls back, consolidates. And then it makes sense. And if this pattern continues, why that can follow as well. The MACD is attractive. The RSI is attractive. The biggest thing on this is, in my experience with pharmaceutical companies, I just want to make sure that, we really focus on staying away from pump and dumps. If you don't understand what the catalyst that's driving these prices up, we've talked about it multiple times. And again, it's just providing the simple understanding that if you want to be part of that 10% of people that make money in the market, you need to make sure that you understand not just patterns like everybody else, but certain reasons and factors that will drive the price up and down. Again, if this is something that's going to make you money, don't you think it's worth the time to invest, to learn a little bit more about what's driving the price up and down? It's that simple. If you think so, great. If not, then you continue to wing it, and I wish you the best. But again, it's those that dedicate the time and the effort to know more than the average person that end up performing a little bit more because of there's a reason behind what it is that they're doing. If you're unaware of something and then something happens, then guess what? You were unaware of it and you're just like, well, what the heck, right? But if you at least dedicate the effort and the time to at least get to that point, then I think that ultimately you'll be better off. And again, you're showing best practices and qualities that I think that will really benefit your future, regardless if it's in the stock market or not. But yeah, that's my breakdown on NTEC. I'm just gonna check something real quick. I just wanna make sure that the live stream is decent. Yeah, so some people were saying that the live stream was buffering or something like that. I just checked right now, and the stream quality is good. So I think we're all good there. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to do a couple breakdowns, and then I'll answer some open-ended questions. And then for those that tune in to the very end of the video, I'll have a nice little gift for you guys. So ticker symbol WTI. Sweet. We've broken this one down multiple times. W&T offshore, right? As of right now, what do you think I would say about this, right? It was showing signs of this kind of like horizontal pattern, very easy to understand, like the low points and the high points, and that's great. One of the things that we've noticed as the market began to sell off is that WTI followed, right? It's the SMA line, which used to act as a support, is now acting as a resistance. And again, people like, as this thing is uptrending and it's getting really close to the SMA line, and it's uptrending as of right now, and it's staying true to this EMA line, great. But as of right now, this isn't like the best deal possible. It's overall direction. So again, your sole focus is to, if you were to draw a line to, like, let's say you have $1,000 or $10,000 in your trading account. If you were to draw a line of where you want it to be at, a year from now, you would draw a line, progressing up, right? An uptrend. So with this WTI, looking at the previous pattern, if you were just to invest the full $1,000 or $10,000, looking at how it's trending, where do you think that would be headed? Is it clear to you the direction that it's headed? And if it's not, then maybe it's not worth the risk. That simple. As right now, this is not showing signs of an uptrend, so maybe it's not the best investment to take part of. If you feel comfortable and there's a reason behind it, not just on the technicals, but on the fundamentals as well, then 100%, all power to you. And I hope that you could share with those that are part of TechBot Solutions and Learn Plan Profit to kind of like share why it is that you see value in it. As right now, its overall direction, the price point at where it's at right now, I don't find it to be a good deal. I don't like the direction. And I think, we can definitely get it for a much better deal. So that's my breakdown on that. So what's going on, buddy? King CROX. Here we go. So this is CROX, Crocs Incorporated, right? If I'm not, this is like the shoe company, right? Ultimately, solid uptrend pattern. It looks like on its last earnings, it really drove the price up, pulled back, corrected itself. If you guys could see, it normally stays true to this SMA line. That's a pattern, right? So as something pushed up and became super overbought, this is why I think technicals are so easy to understand. It's like, okay, you identified the support, which is around and close to the SMA line based off of previous patterns. Great. And now when is it a good time to sell? Well, I think it's very easy to identify that with like the MACD and the RSI, right? So the RSI, you can see that it was overextended. It stops to, and just like the EMA line, the RSI, and the overall pattern, it begins to consolidate and it doesn't continue to uptrend. And I think that's very easy to see. So you could pay attention to the EMA line. If the pattern and the candles are trading above the EMA line, then great, that's attractive. And then referencing the, MACD and the RSI, seeing if it's still a good deal, you can have a really decent understanding of when to lock in profits. Now it's showing signs of it being overbought. Now it's downtrending below the EMA line, and it makes sense on why it can correct itself all the way back to the SMA line, consolidate for a little bit, and then break back above the EMA line. So that would kind of be like the full cycle that I would see going on there. And this is going to be the first alert out of all the stocks that we've broken down that I'm going to set. So I'm going to just set a couple of alerts right here and then kind of go from there. But I'm really happy that you were able to break this one down. And again, consistent uptrend pattern. Now we just want to make sure that we focus that it's a good deal and that we confirm that the pattern is going to stay relevant. So yeah. Here we go. What's going on, Devin? TNK. TNK. Here we go. All right. 1 day, 1 minute chart, very low volume. 5 day, 5 minute chart, very low volume. So I personally would not trade this just due to the volume, but yeah, I could see there's somewhat of a horizontal pattern. So the SMA line is almost not flat, but you could see kind of like it's still downtrending a little bit, but it's very easy to identify the low points and very easy to identify somewhat of the high points, right? You can calculate the margin of profit there. and the overall opportunity cost and see if it's worth it. So I just try to look for price points where it traditionally hits. I don't try to look for the highest price point, as I know it doesn't get to that price point very often. I try to be conservative with what's the most common support, what's the most common resistance, and keeping it at that. So I can be conservative, identify the potential that it has to offer, be realistic, and identify good buy points and good sell points as well. I don't have to buy at the lowest point. I don't have to sell at the highest point. It just means having an understanding of the range that it has to offer and the pattern, and then being able to take advantage of opportunities like that when they end up presenting themselves. So the volume on this one is too low. I personally just would not trade it, but I'm really happy that you were able to share it with me. So maybe those that do see value in it, that they can end up taking action from there. So what's going on, Joey? Lulu. So this is Lululemon, the super expensive like spandex or whatever leggings thing, right? Here we go. What do you guys think about Lululemon? So let's slow it down a little bit. Looking at Lululemon as of right now and kind of where it's trending, looks like, again, when the market began to sell off, Lululemon followed, right? It was above the SMA line, then began to sell off. Very simple to see that, right? What do you see going on here, right? It recently broke above the SMA line. Previous resistance was right around 160. Do you think it's going to follow? It's been staying true to the EMA line. Maybe when it pulls back, we could see another bounce, maybe a day trade opportunity, right? For those that see value in that margin, right? Look at the RSI, super overextended. Look at the MACD, not the best deal. Makes sense on why it can pull back. So I just want to point out, it's been staying true to the EMA line. Let's just follow up with it and see if it stays true to it again. If it doesn't and then gets rejected, then guess what? We can focus and wait till it, sells off, finds a support. Maybe it'll identify the SMA as a support, or maybe it'll continue to downtrend. That's why confirmation is so important. So thank you again for breaking down Lululemon or calling it out. I'm just going to set a series of alerts here, breaking below the SMA line and then breaking below the EMA line as well. So again, the EMA line is the exponential moving average, and that's this blue, light blue line that you see here. And then this is the SMA line, which is the simple moving average, which moves a little bit slower, and I think is a little bit easier to understand when it's trying to identify like overall direction and stuff like that. So yeah, I do want to remind you that if you do post just a ticker symbol and not in the ticker callout format, you will get removed from the chat. Again, I'm not here just to tell you what to trade. I want to make sure that you dedicated time to have planned out your trade so you have your own opinion before I tell you mine. We're not here to spoon feed people. If you want to be told what to do, if you want to be told what to trade, if you want other people to trade for you, Learn, Plan, Profit, TechBot Solutions, and my YouTube channel are just not going to be for you. We're here to build self-sufficient traders, right? So let's work on that. Here we go. So this is XXII. Overall low, right? So around 220, right? I think that's a pretty common support. Overall resistance, right around 2.8. Calculating the margin of profit or opportunity cost, right? So that's about 26%, huge. Now looking a little bit closer, looking at the MACD, nice, I like the reversal. Looking at the RSI, I like the reversal. It's pulling back, so it pushed up on Friday, it's pulling back. Now we just have to follow up with it and see if it continues to make higher highs. The easiest way, this is always what I tell people when they're like, Ricky, like, what do you think? Look at previous times that it was at the support and look at what it did. How did it perform? It got rejected. It was getting rejected by the EMA line. It pushed up, consolidated for some time, and then really began to push up, hit that resistance, and then got rejected. Look at previous patterns. Continue to dedicate time to like the different factors, the different patterns that act as a positive or negative catalyst to whatever it is that you want to trade. Easiest way to put it. It's not like anyone can predict the future. Is just look at previous patterns, wait for the confirmation, and feel more comfortable with what it is you're trying to take a position on. So what's going on, Colby? What's up? What's up? Here we go. Ticker symbol EZ. I'm going to set an alert on this one as well. All right, ticker symbol EZ. Here we go. Oh, it says it doesn't exist. All right, MAC SUNW. SUNW. So again, easiest way for me to put this is, first of all, it's a very aggressive descending pattern. The easiest way that I can put this into perspective is that, like, yes, based off of recent patterns, it has been pushing up, and I think that's great. I just think that, again, this is for like newer traders. The more you focus on like paying attention to uptrending patterns, and instead of trying to scalp these like aggressive descending like patterns that continue to sell off and they're high risk. Yes, they might offer higher margin, but just ask yourself, have you been successful with them? If you have, great. If you haven't and you want to practice it, paper trading or simulation trading, I just find it so much easier because it's very difficult for new traders to have successful and effective entry points. And what's the importance of an entry point? Well, you want to get in for a good price, you could sell it for a profit. It's sometimes difficult to understand a decent entry point with a descending pattern because you don't know how high it's going to go before it gets rejected and then continue to bleed. I think with an uptrend stock, again, it's much easier to maybe not get in for the best price, but because of that overall pattern and direction that's in your favor, it will most likely eventually, based off previous patterns, continue to uptrend and then, end up exceeding the price point that you entered at. So it's just one less kind of like, I think, obstacle to focus on. That's my opinion. I think it's too low of a cap of a stock. I don't like its overall direction, and its volume is way too low. So they can get easily manipulated as well, as you can see with these like huge pushes of volume and stuff like that. So again, that's just my opinion. What's going on, Michael? STAF. Here we go. Okay, so this one looks like it gets manipulated as well. Huge push up, then begins to consolidate and slowly bleeding out. Looks like the volume is super, super low. Yeah, this just would not be something that I would want to invest in. Again, you are given, you have access to all these different stocks. Easiest way for me to put it is you have to be extremely selective with what you choose to invest your hard-earned money in. Even if you're paper trading, even if you're simulation trading, treat it as like you're a business that is taking on opportunities that are going to make you money. Are you going to accept every opportunity that is presented to you? No, you have to be selective. You have to have criteria. You have to have structure. So why not be extremely selective and try to find the best deal possible? Would you buy my iPhone X for $10,000? No, because it's not worth that much. It's not a good deal. So why would you buy a stock that is showing signs of manipulation, that's showing signs of a downtrend, that's showing signs of low volume, low demand, and low activity? Maybe it's just not the best trade, right? And yes, sometimes you can get lucky, but it's not about the sometimes. It's your actual understanding and how comfortable it is that you are when taking these positions. So, yeah. Yep. Here we go. CRSP. All right, CRSP was showing signs of an uptrend. This is a therapeutic company. I don't like these either. Now showing signs of a downtrend pattern, getting rejected by the overall SMA line. It looks like it began to consolidate. Instead of the SMA line, which is the green line, acting as a resistance, is now acting as a support. The EMA line is now trying to point up. The MACD is in favor of CRSP. But the RSI is not. It's extremely overbought, overextended. I think that if this thing were to uptrend and completely change its direction, I hope you guys know that it's going to take time, right? This thing isn't just going to go like based off of like just realistically, this thing is not going to just go bloop, right? And then end up being at like $60. It's going to take time of it consolidating, pulling back a little, pushing up a little, and then slowly breaking these resistance. And just the way that it progressively made lower lows and lower highs, it's going to change that direction and make higher highs and higher lows, but it takes time. So don't be so quick to jump the gun. If you find value in this and you want to follow up with it due to the opportunity cost and whatever it is that you see value in, then be sure to break it down and just be patient with it. Again, you have nothing but time. So what's going on, K? So ticker symbol Tesla. So let's do that. Here we go. I don't know if you guys heard, but if I'm not mistaken, one of their, it's not Elon Musk, but what was it? Oh no, that was Snapchat. They're like, one of their chairmen ended up stepping down, but Tesla stock price dropped, so it dropped about 13% because it reduced 7% of its, I don't know if it was layoffs, but for those full-time workers, they reduced their overall full-time layoffs for about 7%. So again, that's just not showing healthy signs of a company for Tesla. Also, I mean, looking at previous patterns, even on the technicals, I know all of you guys could see this. For those that have been working with us for about a couple of weeks, what do you see around $350 for Tesla? Looking at previous patterns, $350. What do you see? Anything that you guys can point out? Strong resistance line, right? It was overbought. Look at the RSI, look at the MACD. Like, look at previous patterns. It was overbought. It was not a good deal. I mean, it was uptrending, but again, this is why it's so important to understand previous resistance levels and where's a good time to sell. Looking at previous patterns, like, yeah, $300 might be a decent price point, but also if you want to get a really good deal, then around like sub 280 to around 250 based off previous patterns, this is really where it gets to, like, where you build that margin. And again, the more patient that you become, the more margin of profit that you could build. And it's at confirmation of an uptrend and that reversal that would make the most sense to take advantage of these opportunities. So I know all of you guys are going to kill it. I know all of you guys are also extremely talented when it comes down to technicals, when it comes down to understanding if it's a good deal or not. Be honest with yourself. I think, and this is with me as well, one of the biggest obstacles that I had to overcome is patience and discipline. It's because it's free will, right? And everyone has their free will to do whatever it is that they want, but it's those that structure it and align it with like their goals and their visions to make sure that you're realistic with yourself. And again, it's just knowing how much and how, like, the time that is needed to when to take advantage of these opportunities. And again, it sounds like a very minute thing when it comes down to the big picture of trading, but trust me, patience and discipline are one of the most important parts, I think, in my opinion, when it comes down to trading and knowing when to properly enter stock. Because again, when you buy the stock, that's usually when you make all your money because of that margin and confirmation that you built for yourself. So that would be a huge focus for 2019 if you guys haven't done so already. So Ricky Low-Key, religious. No, I've talked about my, like, me being religious and stuff like that. So yeah. All right, here we go. Ticker symbol SQs. What's going on? Just banter. So SQQQ, right? So this one follows and is the inverse ETF, right, of TQ. So TQQQ. So this is a NASDAQ-based ETF. So when NASDAQ pulls back, then this pushes up. Market's been picking up, so SQs has been selling off, but how much longer is it going to sell off for? And if you think that the market is at a point where it's going to continue to sell off, then this might be something that you might want to follow. As of right now, it's still getting rejected by the SMA line. By the EMA line, which you could see right here. We've been following up with it, trying to just wait for the confirmation for when that overall reversal happens. And again, when you have nothing but time, when it gets going, and again, that's kind of like my word for the day, you have nothing but time, right? It's just building more margin. So the more patient that you become, the more margin that you can make. Don't try to predict the reversal or just say like, oh no, it can't go any lower than this. Yes, it can. It happens all the time. So just be patient, be selective. And as of right now, so it's going to be TQs. That is going to be the one that's uptrending right now. But again, looking at previous patterns, it's done this before and then peaks out and then gets rejected. And then that's when SQs, excels. So yeah. All right, here we go. What's going on, Joe? HOLX. Whoa. Here we go. So looking at HOLX, just based off previous patterns, I would almost view this to be like somewhat of a horizontal pattern. Looking at the low points, looking at somewhat of the high points around $41. Yes, sometimes it does push above that. Super overbought, super overextended, up and coming earnings report. And it's just not something that I would want to be a part of. It also looks like it has pretty low volume. Not horrible. 5-day, 5-minute chart. It's been an uptrend, right? No question about that. It's been pushing up. So if you see opportunity within the day, great. Just does it make sense to continue to hold this? Not in my eyes. So we got 3 here. We got 6. We got 9. Let's do 2 more. 2 more breakdowns, and then I'll start answering some open-ended questions. I really do appreciate you guys staying with me for the 30 minutes. So Ricky, you still in Dubai? No, that was a joke. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you guys could search me up. My name is Ricky. I have like 92 or 93,000 followers on Instagram. I only have one account. There's a bunch of fake accounts out there, so please report those. But I posted a picture today of like me and my Maserati in like the desert, and I just put Dubai, but the hashtag was Yuma because I was in like Yuma, Arizona. That kind of like where the dunes and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a joke. Here we go. Ticker symbol GRUB. So this is Grubhub, and trust me, like this thing was showing signs of an uptrend. Is now beginning. So same thing goes, like it's been downtrending, great. It's approaching the SMA line, which used to act as a support. Might get rejected here, might not. RSI is overextended. MACD is indifferent about it as of right now. It did a lot of consolidation right around the $80 price point. I would watch this one closely to see if the direction changes, and if you see opportunity within the day as a day trade, 100% all power to you. I just would hate for someone to get in here and then it just begins to sell off, because then you literally got in at the highest price point. So just be sure to set your alerts, be sure to just watch it closely. Again, if this thing ends up reversing, then just remind yourself that you have nothing but time to make up all that margin. What's an extra 2 to 3%? Very small percentage and mistake to make when there's so much margin on the table. So this could be a good deal. Now we just need to wait for confirmation. And it's those that are patient and disciplined that will most likely, experience it. So DDS, here we go. Same thing, Dillard's, overall downtrend, getting rejected by the overall SMA line, not a good deal. I like the MACD, RSI is not the best, but it's been downtrend right now, so I'd personally stay away from this. Let's do another one, GEL. Here we go, same thing, downtrend here. Come on guys, let's try to focus on one that's uptrending. So this is not a good deal. Look at the RSI, look at the MACD. It changed the overall directions, and it just, yes, it's consolidating, but like it has more margin to sell off than it does, I think, for profit. So that's just my opinion. I want to see and focus on something that's been uptrending. DRIP, let's check this out. Selling off as well. So GUSH is the inverse ETF for ticker symbol DRIP. I would focus more on that one, as that one is the one that as of right now is uptrending. So yes, it's not the best deal, but it's still, the direction is there. And again, my biggest mistakes have been like trading against direction. I try to predict the overall reversal of something that's uptrending, and I try to predict the reversal of the inverse ETF. And again, why trade against a pattern that's trending up? So just make the margin, trade, and go with the flow. And then once the confirmation is there, then you can quickly shift directions, as long as the opportunity cost and you see value in it is there. What's going on, Devin? FINX. Let's see. Same thing, downtrend, overall getting rejected by the SMA line, not a good deal. You guys are killing me today. And again, I only break down stocks that are in the ticker call out format. RIG. Downtrending, yes, it looks like it's trying to reverse. I'm going to need a little bit more confirmation than just, 1 week of consolidating. VIPS. Yeah, it's changing direction. It's just not a good deal. What does ticker symbol mean? It means like the ticker symbol of the company. SQ. Here we go. All right, this is going to be the last one. Yeah, I still don't view this to be a good deal. It pushed up really nicely, but it's now a little bit more on the overbought side. Looks like its direction might change. It makes sense on why this thing can still pull back to the SMA line before, as it acted as a resistance here, right here, and right here. It's going to then most likely act as a support if it changes directions, just like it's done before. So that's kind of what I would look out for. I just want to answer then now some open-ended questions about trading or just investing or whatever it is that you guys want to know about me, and then we can kind of go and close out the live stream there. For all those that have waited out and watched this entire 33 minutes of me kind of just breaking down stocks, I really do want to thank you guys for your time. One of the things that I do want to ask you is if you guys do have 5 minutes and have ever considered working with me on a closer basis for the Learn Plan Profit Group, and you want to watch me trade live every single day, then the really cool thing about that is that, again, if you click that second link in the description, that's our Learn Plan Profit Group. Feel free to check out the entire kind of welcome page and stuff like that. There's a video that showcases what's included, what you get to experience and watch, kind of one of our live trading sessions. If you've ever wanted to see what that would be like, everything's broken down in that welcome page. Be sure to check it out. For watching this entire video, I'm going to be giving you guys $30 off, promo code 30 off. That's simple, right? So if you guys want to tune on in, there's a little coupon code for you, and I think we opened it up for the first 15 people. So feel free to check it out. If you guys see value in it, great. I would love to have you as part of the team. If not, 100%, I understand, and I hope that my videos and all the other videos on YouTube can continue to inspire you and improve you as a better trader. So yeah, let's go ahead and start answering some questions. Maybe I should go like this. Yeah, so you guys can see the questions, right? So Ricky, you hitting the gym? Yeah, I've been trying to go to the gym a little bit more. I've been trying to eat a little bit more as well. So we have like goals for like calories. Because of my travels today, I don't think I necessarily hit it, but it was like one of my only days this entire week. So after that like calorie challenge that I did, I've just been trying to eat not better, but just more. So at like 3,500 to around 3,500 calories like a day and stuff like that. And I have certain goals by certain times and stuff like that. But thank you for asking and for, I guess, being interested in that. What are options? So if you mean like options when it comes down to trading, feel free to Google it. There's a bunch of videos on that on YouTube. Again, like I'm here to answer like open-ended questions or stuff that you cannot already find on the internet. If you guys want to run something past me, then great. Just again, and I mean this in the most respectful way, we get thousands and thousands of messages like every single day. And I have over like 1,300 videos on YouTube. The whole point of me making these videos are to answer your questions. So if you're not utilizing YouTube, if you're not utilizing Google to answer your question first, and all you want to do is ask questions and be told what to do, that's just not gonna like work out well. You need to be someone that's self-sufficient, that is willing to like find the answer and the solution. And if you don't, then great, you have me and our whole team to answer that question. But please make sure that you're considerate to our time. And just make sure that you dedicate time to answer your own as well. Let's see. When you pay attention to the candles, how they open full bodies and wicks. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say, so John Skywalker, I wouldn't say that I have a huge focus on like the wicks and the candles and stuff like that. I try to focus more on just price ranges and just overall margins, right? So like I want to make sure that every time that I get in for a trade, that there's a good deal ahead of me. I don't have to get in, so wicks and stuff like that, and the overall candles, like yes, that could be good for technicals when it comes down to identifying support and resistance or exact price points, and also for like maybe scalping and stuff like that, when to like specifically identify maybe a potential reversal. I don't aggressively day trade, so it's not something that would be of huge value to me. I'd rather focus on something that I see value in, that the margin of profit is there, the confirmation is there, and I tend to be a little bit slower with my trades, but it works really well for me, as you guys have seen with my previous videos. And for those that are part of Learn, Plan, Profit, like yeah, sometimes I do trade pretty quickly, but it's not like I'm not really looking at the wicks or anything like that. I'm looking at the pattern and the overall kind of just opportunity cost and making sure that it's there. Yeah, so do you ever plan on ever trading with more than 30K since you've been mostly successful? Of course. One of the biggest things, that's a very common question of like, Ricky, why do I only trade with $30,000 and stuff like that? And it just has to do with like, the amount of money that I make as of right now with trading is more than enough. And as time goes on, I will be more comfortable and more refined as a trader. I'd be making more money, which then I'm at a pace that I'm going at. I could be trading with maybe like $50,000 or $60,000 at the end of the year, right? I'm in no rush to try to like make it or break it. And I think that's what differentiates those that like do try to make it or break it. It's just because you have the money doesn't mean that you have to utilize it. It's those that are like selective and that, yeah, there's like those very like few people that are very aggressive and that just make it. I'm just not that lucky. So I'm willing to take my time. I'm willing to learn more every single day. I'm someone that's empowered to like, not only just like teach, but also be learning along the way. And I know like every single day I'm becoming a better trader. And I think that's all what it's about. What I'm trading now is not what I'm going to be trading with 5 or 10 years down the road. Same thing with you, but you want to make sure that you don't discourage yourself. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that new people make is they go all in with all the money that they have. They discourage themselves and never even get to that point where they can be trading with, a much larger account 5 or 10 years down the road. So yes, right now you might just be making 1 or 2% a week, but just imagine how that could be like when you're trading with $100,000. And as you get better, obviously you're going to be making more money and be more consistent. So again, don't define or discourage yourself because of the position that you're in right now. Just know that there can be a brighter future. You just have to make sure that your best practices and your overall structure and discipline aligns with that. And you have to do what other people don't, right? And 90% of people just go all in. So what are you doing to be different? So how do you keep from people? I like this question. This is going to be one of the last ones. I do apologize if I did not answer your question, but yeah. So how do you keep people from copying your trade by trade with Learn Plan Profit? So for those that are not familiar with that, so I go live every single morning at Market Open with the Learn Plan Profit group. That's the private group, the second link in the description. And one of the huge values that we provide is live trading. So people, especially now, just because we've been growing at such a rapid pace, people just think that like, oh wow, I can watch him trade live and mimic all his trades. It doesn't work like that. Trust me. I know those that are trying to copy me because the direct messages and the way that they word it, be like, hey Ricky, when do you plan to exit your position? Is there a desired exit point that you're looking for? And stuff like that. Again, I remind them, I don't care if you're part of Learn Plan Profit. I don't care if you're part of TechBuild Solutions. I don't care if you're, just a viewer. I treat everybody the same, right? Those that are part of Learn Plan Profit, they invested in me, and yes, I do owe them more time when it comes down to like answering their questions and just build that relationship. It does not mean that I need to tell them where I'm, buying and where I'm selling or exactly what it is that I'm doing, because I'm not here to spoon feed people. And that's the biggest thing. It's like I trade live for about 45 minutes to an hour. After that, you have to figure it out on your own. And do you really think that, be realistic with yourself, copying my trades is going to get you very far? Yes, you might get lucky from time to time where you can mimic some of my trades and you'll be well off on that. But wouldn't you rather just become a self-sufficient trader? You guys all know, that quote that we always say, you can give a man a fish and he could eat for a day. You can teach a man how to fish and he can eat for a lifetime. I think that's what's most important, is from the very beginning, we've never sold alerts. We've never told people where to buy or where to sell. We don't trade for others. And I think that is why the values that we built our group with and our community and our team by is those values that really encourage and empower people to be the best that they can be, and to not just try to be little minions of me and stuff like that. We're all wired in different ways. We all see value in different ways, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to work with you. And yes, it's more difficult to try to figure your trading style out, but those that actually push through all those obstacles will eventually get there, and that's when it's going to be worthwhile. Again, we live in this super blessed life where we can invest money to make money, and that's just not a luxury that everyone's going to experience, because not everyone's going to put forth the time and the effort to get to that position where they can actually have the knowledge to make that money, right? And that's what it's all about. So that's really just it. So I really hope that I answered some of your questions that you guys saw value in. I really hope that you guys are a little bit more familiar with kind of how we do things within our YouTube channel and within Learn Plan Profit and TechBuild Solutions. If you guys want to stay connected, we'd love for you to subscribe. We'd love for you to be a part of TechBuild Solutions. And if you want to be able to watch me trade live every single day and just work with me on a closer basis, you can message me every day if you have a question. You can watch me trade live every single day. You'll have access to all the course updates and stuff like that within Learn Plan Profit. And that's that second link in the description. I hope I earned your thumbs up in this video. Hope you guys absolutely kill it this week. Just a reminder, Martin Luther King's birthday is tomorrow. In observance to that, the stock market will not be open. So we will see you on Tuesday at Market Open. Thank you guys again for your time. Continue working hard, continue following your dreams, let your passion be what drives your success. And again, it's not these huge changes that you need to implement into your life that are going to make you successful. It's these small changes and best practices and habits that you incorporate into your life on a consistent basis that can get you to a point 1 or 2 years down the road that will truly set you apart from everybody else. So I hope that can empower you to, again, not try to set huge goals that are super unrealistic, but that you set a goal that you can achieve and consistently, set those goals and slowly work towards them and understand that it is possible. But yeah, thank you guys again for your time. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.